Hello and welcome to this special broadcast on Financial Advisor TV. My name is Jay Coulter, and joining me for this special interview is Katie Braden. Over the past couple of months and for the next couple of months, Katie and I are on the conference circuit. Couldn't be more excited that conferences are back and we're going to some of the best in the industry. Last month, Katie and I had boots on the ground at the Retirement and Longevity Summit out in California, the #1 conference for financial advisors who are interested in the human side of our business. Next week, I'll have boots on the ground for Katie and I at ETF Exchange, which is widely known as the best conference for ETFs in the industry. Later in May, Katie and I will be at the Jolt Conference, a new conference from the folks at Snappy Kraken, where they're bringing best in breed marketing for financial advisors. And then Katie and I are serving as ambassadors for the Morningstar Investment Conference, which we will bring you later in May. But today, we're here to talk about the T3 Conference. Katie, what are your thoughts on the upcoming T3 Conference?
Jay, honestly, I am super excited. No joke. For those that know me, I have been into the technology side of things for a long, long time. When I even started at my mother's RIA back in 2006, that was a paperless office that was running virtually. So I come from a tech-forward family. I wanted to go to T3 for so long, but I kid you not, I feel like I've been cursed. I've had a scheduling conflict every single year. So I am crazy excited to be going this year. And not only that, to have here with us the creator of the T3 Conference, Joel Bruckenstein. So we're going to be chatting with Joel about why probably everybody should be coming to it and how many things are going on at this conference, everything that happens every year, things that are new this year. But Joel, I'll say the thing I was always most excited about. Love the content. We've got a lot of great speakers to talk about, but it is the difference in the exhibit hall. And because I love, getting hands-on and really learning and evaluating all the different tools and tech, getting to be there and actually talking with everyone. So can we start by talking about the power of the exhibit hall at T3?
Yeah, I think the exhibit hall is really unique in the industry. At a lot of other conferences, advisors actually try to avoid the exhibit hall because they're afraid they're going to be sold something. Yeah. And that's not the case at all at T3. T3 is really about collaboration. What we've tried to do since the origin of the conference is bring together the real technologists who create software. So it's not just salespeople who are there in the exhibit hall. It's developers. It's the people who are creating the roadmap. In many cases, you have the president, the CTOs of these companies who actually attend T3 and interact in the booth with advisors so they can get feedback on their products. And so it's really a unique opportunity for advisors to talk to the people who are creating the software for them and let them know what they like, what they don't like, and what their needs are.
Well, and I'd probably say one of the things I was looking forward to is at one point we were looking at switching CRMs, right? And the due diligence you have to do for that. And then we were looking at switching trading platforms. And again, it was months and months of all this stuff. And I kept thinking, I was like, if I could just go to one place where all of those people are, talk to all of them, ask the questions live, that would be so much more valuable. And that's exactly what you can do.
That is exactly what you could do. If you're looking, for CRM, financial planning software, what have you, you can pretty much see everybody that you'd want to see in one place over the course of the next few days there and really get hands-on, right? They'll give you demos. They'll let you touch and play with the software, answer all your questions, and you can compare them side by side, which is unique. It's very difficult sometimes to do that, sort of over a Zoom call, for example. You want to play with the software and contrast one to the other right there.
Yeah. Well, and the last thing I'll say on that, clearly I'm super excited about this, is
you
also
sound excited.
Truly, Jill, I feel like this has been 15 years in the making, is getting to see the tech and tools that you didn't even know existed, right? All the announcements that come out at this conference and people unveiling new technology tools for advisors.
Yeah, and that really falls into two categories. You have a lot of the leading technology companies in the industry time their releases around T3. Yeah. So pretty much every major company you can think of that serves advisors will have some sort of technology rollout, some new application or an improvement to an existing one. And then we also have an emerging technology section where we try and highlight new and interesting firms that advisors may have little or no visibility into. And so it's a great opportunity to check out the new up-and-comers as well.
I love that.
Yeah. So, Joel, I was at T3 in San Diego right before the whole world shut down. And I was fortunate enough to be invited by Y Charts to speak on a panel. And when you talk about accessibility to leaders, we did a session with Taylor Schulte, Sean Brown, the CEO of Y Charts, and it was hosted by Ryan Neal, who
Yep.
and so what was the coolest part, it was done in the exhibit hall. And then afterwards, people could walk up to Sean and talk to him directly about some of the innovations that Y Charts is coming up with. They could walk right up to Taylor Schulte and ask him questions about website marketing. And it's that accessibility to thought leadership that's really been, I think, one of the hallmarks of the T3 experience over the years.
Well, yes. I mean, we will have a lot of thought leaders at the conference, and they'll be not just in the exhibit hall, roaming the halls as well, and also after hours, plenty of opportunities to have a casual cocktail and sit and talk in an informal setting with some of the best in the industry. So most advisors who've been there before definitely take advantage of that opportunity, because I do, again, think it's one of the unique things. Everybody who's anybody in technology usually shows up at T3.
That's right. You did a live stream yesterday with Marie Swift at Impact Communications, and she had mentioned that you have an embarrassment of riches there. And in my opinion, the biggest embarrassment that you do have of riches is the T3 Inside Information Technology Report that you release. For folks that aren't familiar with that report, could you put some color on it?
Sure. I mean, the T3 Inside Information Technology Report surveys typically over 5,000 advisors, so there's nothing that even comes close to it in the industry in terms of the scope of it. And we compile all the data, and it generally covers close to 500 products. A few years ago, I didn't know there were 500 products out there that serve advisors in the technology space. And we'll be giving rankings on everything from market share to user satisfaction. We'll be presenting that at a lunchtime presentation on Monday, the first day of the conference. So for Monday lunch, we're going to do the same thing we did the last time we were there. We've invited a bunch of food trucks to come, so everybody will have an opportunity to go to whatever food truck they care to go to, grab some lunch, and then come and sit down and watch Bob and I give an overview of the 2022 T3 Inside Information Survey. And then Monday night, when the exhibit hall opens, we'll have hard copies of it available. So people who want to get early access to all the data, that will be the first opportunity to get access on Monday night. Well, first hour talk, and then Monday night in the exhibit hall for the hard copy.
In my experience working with advisors, you take that survey and you take the Kitsis map and you have all the resources you need to map out a tech stack that makes sense for a firm.
It's definitely a great starting point, yes.
And then you come to T3 and you talk to all of those tech providers in person. And I'm sure people are seeing the website scrolling along the bottom. Go to t3conferences.com. But since we keep talking about, Monday lunch and Monday night, we should make sure everyone knows there is still plenty of time to register. The conference is happening Monday, May 2nd to Wednesday, May 4th in Denton, Texas. And Joel, I've traveled to over 50 countries. I can place a lot of things on the map. I have to admit, I had no idea where Denton was.
Well, we've been to Denton before and we love it. Denton is a suburb of Dallas. But one of the nice things about it is that, you're usually going against the traffic. So it's about 30 minutes from DFW. It's easy for everybody in the country to get to. This particular conference space is a little bit isolated, but within 10 or 15 minutes, you have the town of Denton, which is kind of an old style, nice Texas town with some fun things to do. It's got a really nice vibe. We love it there. Last time we were there, we had a great experience, and so we decided to go back.
Yeah, and I've heard great things about it. I know tons of people are already registered. I think you said in the live stream with Marie yesterday, over 650 are already registered. And I think I heard correctly, you're also extending the buy one get one sale till April 15th.
That is true. So through April 15th, you can go on the website and essentially bring a colleague with you to the conference for free. One of the things we've been resistant to over the years is filming the sessions for various reasons. One of them is we just think people speak a lot more frankly if they're not in front of a camera, and they know it's not going to be broadcast to everybody. And so sometimes you have two concurrent things going on that people want to do, or you want to bring somebody to spend most of their time in the exhibit hall testing products and somebody to actually go to the sessions. So we
Yeah.
encourage folks to bring a second person from your firm. We have had on many, many occasions, folks tell us that they really almost go to none of the sessions and spend pretty much 3 days in the exhibit hall testing technology out.
Excellent. Hey, if you're catching this live stream while we're recording it and you would like to ask a question, no matter which platform you're on, simply go into the comment section, type it in, and it'll be filtered through our platform. Joel, I'd be remiss while we have you if I didn't ask you a little bit about the T3 Tech Hub. Why should advisors be paying attention to the T3 Tech Hub, and what do they gain by following?
Well, first of all, it's free, so free is always nice. And they can subscribe, and we have sort of a monthly digest that goes out of what's gone on to the hub over the last month. Primarily, it's news about, again, new product releases, things of that nature. From time to time, when I feel that there's something worth writing about, I write some in-depth reports on various technologies. But it's really just a great way to get some news for free and to keep up to date on what's going on in the industry. And as I indicated earlier, there'll probably be at least 20 or 30 product releases and news releases coming out of T3, and typically most of those end up on the Tech Hub as well.
Yeah, I fully anticipate a lot of releases, as there always are at your event. It seems to be the prime place to announce news as it relates to fintech opportunities.
Absolutely.
All right, so our first question has come in, and I can completely relate to this. What's the best way to maximize the experience at T3? And I think the spirit of the question is, how can you take it all in with so much going on?
Yeah, I mean, I do think you need to do a little advanced planning. And we also try and create the program in a way that is friendly to that, user friendly. So the first day is mostly general sessions. So there's one primary thing you want to do on the first day, and that's go to the general sessions, because some of the largest companies in the industry will be making presentations, and also some keynote speakers. And then obviously, I think it's around 5:30 on the Monday, the first day, the exhibit hall opens. So there'll be cocktails, there'll be hors d'oeuvres, and there'll be the first chance to interact with some of the exhibitors. And then the rest of the time, go over the program in advance, see what's most pertinent to your firm, and make sure you do that. And make sure during, the breakfasts and the lunches that you network with your colleagues, because there'll be plenty of other advisors there. And like you said, it's not just advisors, it's thought leaders in the industry. You'll find people just sitting around in the lobby having breakfast or lunch, and there's definitely people there that you'll want to talk to.
Awesome.
Yeah, and as we think about kind of the speakers that are happening, obviously we're talking all about tech because the conference is all about tech, but I do still have conversations with advisors that, are sensitive to, tech still taking over the high touch that they provide to their clients. And so, one of the things that I want to make sure advisors know is you're also bringing the human side, right? And there will be sessions talking about how the human side interacts with the digital side of advice.
Actually, there'll be at least one specific session on that topic, and there'll probably be more than one. There'll be a lot of talk about, the digital client experience. Technology supports the advisor. It doesn't replace the advisor. And we are firm believers in that. There's going to be multiple conversations about better managing your data, because most advisors don't. And so, in order to really know your client, you need to have some data around who they are and what they do and what they care about. And so we'll talk a little bit about, those kind of things. What else is really interesting? Digital marketing will be a big topic as well, I think. And there's going to be some forward-looking sessions about, what's the future of advisor technology, and what should advisors be thinking about in order to stay current and, be viable in the future, because there are a lot of challenges that face advisors today. And quite frankly, the vast majority of advisory firms are a little bit behind the curve when it comes to technology.
They are. And Joel, as you're talking, I'm picturing, as we talk about the client-facing tech, we're talking about the marketing tech, we're talking about kind of back office and the security and everything. I mean, it sounds like most people in most advisory businesses would honestly benefit from being there, given the depth and breadth of content.
There really is something there for everybody. So whether you're trying to make sure that your CRM system is still state of the art compared to what others are doing, or the latest developments in financial planning, if you want to learn more about cybersecurity, and I can tell you quite frankly, based on our survey, at least 80% of advisors are behind the curve on cybersecurity. Um, all of these things are very, very important. I think everybody learned through the last 2 years that a lot of the traditional marketing didn't work because you couldn't go out and meet people in person, prospects. So you had to do it digitally. And so, a lot of these changes, we're not going back to the old way, right? A lot of these changes are going to be permanent, and advisors need to make sure that they have the proper technology to support the 21st century practice. And quite frankly, like I said, the vast majority behind the curve.
Which I've got an easy follow-up question. So in your interview with Marie yesterday, you had mentioned a couple of things around digital marketing, data management, and then digital engagement. If you were headed down to Denton for the conference and you had to choose one of those three areas to focus on as it relates to your firm, and I'm putting cybersecurity in that data management bucket, where do you think somebody should focus their attention?
Well, there's a few ways I can answer that. I think the first way is in 3 days, you can focus on all three at T3 because there'll be ample content to do all of those things. But the real answer is it depends on your firm, right? How do you get the most out of T3? It's by understanding where your firm is on the spectrum, understanding before you come, what your strengths and weaknesses are, and making sure that you spend some time addressing some of those weaknesses. So if you spend a little time thinking about what you need to get out of it before you come, and then you look at the program and at the exhibit hall and focus in on those vendors and those sessions that are most relevant to where your weak spots are, that's how you're going to maximize your time at T3.
Yeah, I've also suggested to people who've reached out to me and said they were going to kind of challenge their own thinking. And I'm guilty of this as well. So I'm very anchored on certain tech providers for my advisor clients, whether it's Wealthbox or YCharts. Over the years, I've had great experiences and I've seen my clients have great experiences, but there are other things out there to consider, especially when you look at the up and coming technologies, whether it's an asset map or a Holista plan, people that are really pushing the edge. How would you recommend somebody walking through the exhibit hall challenge their own boundaries as it relates to their tech stack?
Well, I think the best way to do that is just assume going in that you don't have the best of everything, because you probably don't. And then benchmark some of the products you use against some of their competitors in the exhibit hall. So if you use Wealthbox, for example, look at what the other CRM providers have to offer to understand whether it's right for you. And what happens with a lot of firms is, particularly if they start off small, they buy technology, and that technology is perfectly suited for what they're doing at a given point in time. And then you fast forward, 3 to 5 years, you probably, if you've been in this market the last 3 or 5 years, experience substantial growth. And some of the products that were good for where you were at that point in time, you've outgrown them. So, that's one thing. And the other thing is just technology is moving at the speed of light. And so if you're not up on what the latest and greatest is, you're probably falling behind.
Yep. So we have our first comment from LinkedIn. Samantha Russell from FMG Suite has piped in saying, "Hi, Joel. Hi, Jay. So excited to see everyone in person again at this event. I'm excited to take the stage and illustrate the future of digital marketing for advisors." Samantha, thanks for tuning in. I'm a big fan of what Samantha and her team have done, from 20 over 10 to lead pilot to what they're now doing with FMG Suite. She's just a great example of the type of talent you're bringing to the T3 conference.
I've been a big fan of Samantha's for a long time. And like I said, I mentioned digital marketing because I think it's so important. And I know that a lot of advisors are not doing a great job of digital marketing. So I'm sure they can benefit from what Samantha is going to have to say at T3. And that's just one example.
That's right. So before we wrap up, Katie, do you have any other questions?
I don't have any other questions, I just want to say, truly, I'm looking forward to being there. We'll be there with Marie Swift as part of the citizen journalism. So for those that will be there, I'll be wandering around with a camera and a microphone. And Joel, I know you said a lot of people don't want to be on camera, maybe freeze up a little bit, but hey, that's my specialty, bringing out that authentic piece. I want to get people's reactions to the conference, all those thought leaders that are going to be walking around, grabbing little snippets from them, but really hope to see everyone there in person in May 2nd to the 4th.
Well, you'll find plenty of advisors who are not shy, so I don't think you'll have a problem. And yeah, thank you both for the time today. I'm really looking forward to seeing you guys there, and I know you're going to have a great time.
Thanks, Joel.
Thanks, Joel.